Hi, and welcome to EBADay TV. And today I'm going to be talking to David Giampini from IBM.
Hi.
Hello, David.
Hi.
What do you think some of the major challenges the European payments industry is facing right at the moment?
Well, Elizabeth, the payment and transaction service industry has demonstrated in the last couple of years to be, anyway, a reliable and stable source of revenue and profit for banks, and also a good way to maintain a good relationship with corporate customers. I think the major challenge now, after a couple of years of very strong, more than a couple of years, very strong cost reduction, is to go back to growth. Growth in revenue, growth in volumes, and growth in profit. Also because this kind of growth is the target of competitors that are not financial institutions. So I think the major challenge for the industries now is to try to come up with new services, new value-added services to their customers, being first in class in standard transaction processing, to be able to fight against new competitor and to maintain this important role of the transaction banking within the banking industry of stable and reliable source of profit. Of course, efficiency is still a problem. Cost reduction will be always in our focus. I think it's important to understand that there will be maybe new way to find efficiency, especially new delivery models, co-sourcing, insourcing, outsourcing, maybe cloud computing also could play a big role. And the last challenge, but I think this is definitely something that everybody knows, is risk and compliance. So definitely risk management, compliance issues are mandatory. So banks need to take care of that. And I think in this area, there will be a big interest in the transaction data to better analyze the data of this transaction, to be respondent to regulatory demand, but also to provide better services to their customers.
You mentioned a lot of the big buzzwords going on right now in terms of innovation, cloud computing, and outsourcing and insourcing. And IBM is, of course, on the innovation panel here at EBADay. So what role do you think innovation is going to play in European payments?
IBM has a long history. We are just completing our first 100 years in these days. And we are still a very innovative company. We are leading the number of patents every year. We have Nobel Prize winners and so on. But I think the secret is to link innovation to business value. Innovation doesn't mean anything if it's not linked to something that can recognize on the account balance. So I think we have two sides. We have the innovation from a financial institution perspective, that is to, again, have a different look to their customer, to provide a different type of services, be innovative in this, try to serve a longer part of the value chain, not to be limited in the processing side. From a vendor like IBM, of course, the innovation means provide the right technology, the right approaches to new delivery models, allow for a better knowledge on data, better analytics, predictable analytics on data, to allow our customers, so financial institutions, to really be customer-centric on their side. I think innovation is important. I think the banking business in general is a very technology-oriented business, so innovation is definitely a key role, as long as we keep in our mind the business value of the innovation, not just innovate for the sake of it. I think it's important to understand that the competitor of financial institutions are probably better in innovating, in proposing ourselves as innovator. Banks also have to look at new way to communicate their role with social media, with Twitter, with Facebook, compared to other competitors that are already in that field.
We're here the day before EBADay while we're still setting up, but I kind of wanted you to look into your crystal ball a bit and look into the future and what's the future for European payments?
In general, I would say that given some circumstances and some critical decisions that have to be made in the future, I would say that the future is pretty optimistic for me, for the industry. There is a big market, new markets to win. There is still a lot of cash around us, so definitely there is a future for electronic payment in growing the volume. There is a future also to help the corporate customers in doing a better role in the financial supply chain compared to the physical supply chain. So definitely there will be some critical decision from the industry, especially in Europe. Europe is a very mature market, so there are no the growth margins and the growth percentage of Asia or other areas. We are probably the most complex market where the margins are the lowest in the world. But there are good things coming. For example, the SEPA transition probably will come to a final end with the end dates, and that will bring advantages. But I think that, for example, one of the things that now scares the banks most, that is regulation and compliance issues. I think they could be also driven as a positive.
It seems like we've been waiting for the end dates for SEPA for so long. And
exactly, but and all the other regulation like sanctions and this kind of things can really give to the banks and to the financial institution a greater role in these growing markets, because they have the experience, the role, the knowledge, and the support of the central banks and the central regulatory body to really play this role as a consultant also to these new entrants that have to handle a very large volume of payments, and they probably do not have neither the capabilities, neither the willingness to invest a lot in compliance. So banks can provide services to this competitor and again work in a cooperative environment that is probably the future of this business.